Thursday nights are not boring after all. What's happening, guys? It's your boy TC coming to you with another video. So we've played our first game in the Europa League, and basically the whole night's been an absolute shambles up until the first 45 minutes were up. There was a lot of trouble with the fans, mainly the away fans, I should say, and I will be making another video on the events that took place tonight anyway. But this video is in regards to the match review. So jumping straight in, I'll go into the team selection by Mr. Wenger. We had Ospina in goal, and we had Holding at the back, Perma Osaka, as well as Nacho Monreal. And at the wings, we had Alexis actually started on the left wing back, as well as Bellerin was on the right wing back position. And then we saw Maitland-Niles, who started off in the centre of the pitch with El Neni, and then moving forward, we had Theo Walcott on the right, and we had Oli Giroud up front on his own, as well as Alexis Sanchez, who played his first 90 minutes of the season. So basically, as I said, the first 45 minutes were an absolute shambles. Cologne came out the blocks, and they scored pretty much right at the beginning of the half. We hadn't settled into the game. Our passing was extremely sloppy throughout the whole first half. I was genuinely expecting a defeat on this particular evening. But obviously, as you know, guys, we turned things around. So I did make a few notes during the game. And the first note I did make was the fact that Nacho Monreal and Hector Bellerin were the only two players that retained their positions from the weekend. And Hector Bellerin did put in an absolutely solid performance. He capped it with a goal towards the end of the game. And basically, we also didn't see Jack Wilshere and Reiss Nelson start, as it was being reported and as we were expecting as fans. So just touching on a few players that I was particularly paying attention to during the whole game. I'll start off with Theo Walcott, and Theo had a terrible first half. It was awful. By the end of the first half, he'd only had 18 touches, which was the least out of all Arsenal players. He'd been caught offside at least 3 times during that time. Just within the first half, he'd given the ball away countless times. I think it was 3 or 4 times he'd lost possession, and it pretty much led to an attack by Cologne each and every time. So Theo's performance during the first half was absolutely atrocious. We came back into the second half, and he sort of picked up where he'd left off. However, to get our equaliser from Kolasinac, who came on as a second half substitute, the ball was put in through to Theo Walcott. Unfortunately, there was a bit too much pace on the ball, so he found himself on the left-hand side of the goal, and he sort of tried to cross it back in, but the ball took a massive ricochet, and the ball found itself being smashed into the top right-hand corner by Kolasinac with a fantastic goal. And as soon as he came on, things changed. Wenger obviously switched to the 4 at the back formation into the second half, and there was much more movement, much more fluidity in regards to our play. We were a bit more threatening going forward. And obviously Kolasinac capped the performance with a fantastic goal. He was putting in brilliant crosses throughout the whole evening as soon as he came on. And he did make an absolute massive difference instantly, I should say. So throughout the first half, going back to the first half, revisiting the first half, I should say, we were very, very sloppy in possession. We were finding that Cologne were absolutely hounding us continuously. We didn't have chances to settle on the ball. And basically how we ended up conceding the first goal from Cologne was being basically rushed off the ball. It did appear as if the ball had gone out at the time, but it was obviously cleared on a bit later on that the ball hadn't gone out. And it was a fantastic, fantastic shot by the £17 million striker Cordoba from Cologne. He's a Colombian, and I'm not going to take anything away from him. It was a brilliant strike. He was clever enough to spot the silly Ospina off his line, and basically the clearance from Ospina wasn't great at all. It was a brilliant assist, I should say, to Cologne. The clearance should have been going on the opposite side of the pitch, or there should have been a bit more power in it to get rid of the ball completely. But the clearance was poor, and we found ourselves 1-0 down. And up until that point, again, as I said, we were extremely, extremely sloppy in possession. So during the first half, we were extremely nervous, and it wasn't a great performance. Rob Holding himself really was finding himself a lot out of position. He was sort of trying to create chances, but you don't do that as a centre-back. You don't do that when you know you haven't got fantastic cover at the back in the form of Mertesacker, and that's in regards to the pace that he offers. If the ball was to go over the top, we would have been in trouble, and that happened numerous times during the game. So revisiting other players that I was basically watching during the game, Maitland-Niles, I think he put in a decent shift. He got full 90 minutes, and eventually we saw him on the left-hand side, and he swapped over with Iwobi. We saw Iwobi through the centre at one point, and towards the end of the first half, Iwobi made a what I would like to consider just one threatening run, but it did look good. However, he didn't get the chances I thought he would have actually received in this game. He obviously ended up coming off, and we saw him taken off. I think it was for Reece Nelson. We ended up seeing Reece Nelson come on as well. No, Iwobi, my apologies. Iwobi was swapped on for Jack Wilshere, and then Iwobi ended up coming on for Theo Walcott towards the end of the game. But Maitland-Niles put in a decent shift. We found him back into the centre of midfield as well towards the end of the game, and again he was fantastic. He had one brilliant opportunity where he could have scored, but again I assume it's just down to the lack of experience. A much more experienced player like Alexis Sanchez would have rounded the keeper and basically put that goal away. So moving on to Alexis Sanchez, basically up until the point he'd scored the goal, he looked a bit as if he was a player who didn't want to be there. But as a world-class player, you will produce moments of magic. You will see moments of magic like the one we saw tonight. It was a goal that we definitely needed, and it was a brilliant solo goal from Alexis Sanchez. The initial pass to come into him to actually receive the ball to go and score the goal looked as if it's gonna be a tricky situation, but he did end up finding the top corner off the goal with a fantastic curling goal. He was surrounded by 4 defenders, and somehow he found the top corner. So up until that point, the game became easier. We were much more in control, and then eventually our pressure paid off. Kolasinac was bombing forward as usual, and again it was a fantastic cross which led to Jack Wilshere dummying the ball, and then the determination of Hector Bellerin and the hunger he showed tonight obviously rewarded him with a fantastic goal towards the end. The keeper was clattered, and one of the defenders was absolutely clattered. At that point, the ball was in the back of the net, and we were all celebrating. So it was a good win overall in the end. But I'm not going to take away the fact that the first half was absolutely atrocious. It was horrendous. But we came away with a win. It would have been absolutely shocking if we'd actually taken a loss on this particular game. So what do you guys think? As usual, please do let me know what you think in the comments below as usual. And once again, guys, it's your boy TC from I'm Gonna Talk TV. And I'm out.